All right, 3A preview time. Yes, for the state meet. Man, yeah, so I'm going to go over individual ranking, individual preview, team preview, and for both boys and girls. So I did one with 1A and 2A. Please check those out if you haven't. Also, below here is a written preview if you guys want to read that. That would be awesome. But yeah, if you get a lot of content here with the preview. But yes, let's start out with 3A girls individual. Mir Sawa is on record watch this week. Yes, 16:03 at the sectional at Bussy Woods. Bussy Woods compares to the state meet. She won by a minute. Now I don't know if she was, she was going for anything specific at the sectional, but her eyes, I feel like this week will be set on Judy Pendergrass's all-time state meet record. Mia's only a sophomore, so that's crazy to say. 16:03 is no joke though, and shaving off another 10 seconds at the state meet, it's a lot harder than it sounds, but the added just knowledge or knowledge of that record and you being so close to it and the amount of people that will be cheering you on at the state meet might get you that extra 10 seconds. So I will not be surprised if Mir Sawa does break the state record this week. I don't think she's going to be challenged. I think that early in this race, it's going to go out, and I think the pack will probably be with her, but not for long. Maya Ledesma, Carlin Janowski, Scout Storms, Veronica Zenaida, Amelie Ojeda, those are girls to watch out for, I would say, to be within the top 5. Honestly, all those girls can compete for a second place finish at the state meet, if I'm being real here. Maya Ledesma has looked great all year. Right now, if we're talking favorites to take second, it's probably Maya. Carlin Janowski has looked also amazing all year. Her only loss this season has been to Mir Sawa. So those two will be going back and forth, I feel like, more for the second place finish. Scout Storms was a minute behind her teammate at the sectional, but she is the defending state champ, and you can't ignore the fact that she's the defending state champ. She will be in this race, and she will be trying to do the best that she can for her team, try and get 2 girls in front of York's number 1 girl, of course, with Janowski. So she has a lot. She has a lot that she's looking forward to here as at her final time racing at Detweiler Park as a senior. She was a state champ again, like I said, last year, and knows the course well. Veronica Zenaida from Prospect had last year, she made a move to the front of the race and then ended up dropping out of the race due to her just putting her body through so much exertion and giving her best effort to where her body just broke down on her, essentially. She's going to try and look for redemption this year, be within the top 5, potentially be a second place finisher at the state meet as she tries to lead Prospect back towards the trophy race again. Amelie Ojeda has looked great the last 2 weeks. She's been untouched for the most part. She can really surprise some people this week, I feel like, from Willowbrook. And yeah, when we're talking about top 10 finishers, that's a lot of people. You got Avery Hacker as well in that race, Elena Tonum, Maddie Romaine, Meg Peterson, Madeline Cassidy, Emma Barris, Nicole Poglish, Lily Eddington. Those are all girls that can be within the top 10 runners in this race. So a lot of intrigue on the girls' individual race. In the team race on the girls' side, this looks, as of right now, to be a 3-headed monster, with that being Barrington, DGN, and York. Those look to be the 3 teams as we stand here today. But Minooka, Prospect, Batavia, and Naperville North aren't going to just lay down for them. They're going to provide a fight. We'll see if it's enough, though, to break into those top 3 teams. Barrington has looked like the best team over the last 2 weeks, or honestly over the last while, but especially over the last 3 or 4 weeks, honestly, since Loyola. They had a huge race at Loyola, and have produced great results ever since. But Barrington has the great 1-2 punch, and they potentially have two other girls that could be all staters, and then their fifth girl probably within the top 60 runners. GGN has a great pack. They've had a great pack all year. They need to keep Ava Keeley with that pack though if they wish to win this week. They need to keep that pack together until the end if they want to win a state title. York has looked up and down a little bit over the last few weeks. They looked really good here at the sectional, and they look like they've returned to the York that we saw the first few weeks of the season. They will need they have a great pack as well, but they need to get their pack up into the race a little bit more, and all underneath 17 minutes, of course. But yeah, Prospect and Batavia, those two teams, it really comes down to their fifth runner moving up. Manuka, same thing. They need their pack to move up and be within the top 60 runners in the race, 50 or 70 runners in the race maybe, to win a state trophy this week. So that is the girls' side, and we move on to the boys' side individually. And we look at the top two, and that is Ben Crane from New Trier and Dylan Maloney from Plainfield South. The two have met twice, and it is 2-0 Crane. So heading into the state meet, Ben Crane enters in as the favorite. Dylan Maloney has looked great the last few weeks, tying his course record at Shanahan. He was only 3 seconds behind Crane at Nike Twilight down in Terre Haute. He ran 14:36, which is just off Soren Newton's course record at Maxwell Park this week. Ben Crane has looked great too, of course. So this race is going to come down to the wire, I feel like, between those two. Both have looked great all year. Both look confident heading into the state meet. And it's going to be really exciting. It's going to take probably a 14-0s performance to win the state meet this year between those two, which is very exciting. Then after that, there's a lot of guys fighting for a top 5 finish. You got Thomas Sawinski, who's only 7 seconds behind Dylan Maloney at the sectional this past week. He will be fighting for a top 5 finish. He was top 5 last year at the state meet. Joe Bergenzer from Barrington, another guy. He was the 3,200 state champion. Nobody talked about him winning state until after the state meet had concluded. So I think that Joe Bergenzer can surprise some people here if he can rekindle that magic that he had when he broke 9 for the first time at the state meet to win the 3,200. Philip Supiol, another state champion on the track in the 1,600 and 4x8. He has won each one of his races the last few weeks. We'll see what he does. He did beat Maloney back at first of the finish, so we will have to see, how he does in this race. Evan Parker, and another kid that was up there at first of the finish and beat Maloney. He will be in the top 10 runners in this race. We'll see. He'll be a top 5 runner in contention for a top 5 position. Grant Schroeder, another kid that will be likely within the top 10 runners here, could potentially find his way into the top 5. Jacob Barraza had a great day at the sectional. Shades of Riley Newport from a few years ago. He could potentially surprise some people and get within the top 5, maybe even a little bit more. Zach Tolman has looked great over the last few weeks. He just edged out Quinn Davis. He'll be a potential top 10 runner. Josiah Narianen had a huge beginning of the year, and he took Crane to a limit at Red Devil invite up at KLM. He had a little bit of a few down weeks. He's back up. He was second behind Barraza at the sectional, but maybe, the last 2 weeks have been a trend in the right direction. So maybe, he finds that early season mojo again at the state meet. On the team side, this has been a 3-headed rate, or it's been a 3-headed monster for most of the season. DGN, Plainfield North, and Plainfield South. Those have been the top 3 teams for most of the year. Edwardsville beat Plainfield South at Palatine, but Plainfield South got the win back over them this past week at the sectional. DGN and Plainfield North have been looking great. They were their sectional champions respectively. It's going to be a close race for the state title, but right now as we stand today, DGN looks like the favorite heading into the state meet. But again, those things can change heading into next week. Plainfield South didn't have their best day at the sectional, but that's honestly potentially a good thing. They didn't have their best day, but they still look like they're the third team in the state. So they are still within the trophy hunt and look like they are leading the charge for the trophy hunt. If they replicate their performance at conference, where they were only 4 points behind Plainfield North, they will for sure get a trophy come Saturday. Teams like New Trier, Lions, Edwardsville, York, they add a little bit of intrigue though into this race, and don't be shocked if one of those teams reaches up and potentially can grab a trophy if one of those three teams falters. But yeah, that's our 3A preview. Thank you guys for watching. See you at the state meet. Again, if you guys haven't watched 1A and 2A, please do so. And yes, see you on Saturday.